The time now being 10:05, I call this hearing for the Joint Committee on Telecommunications, Utilities, and Energy to order. And today we are hearing just some late filed bills. There's actually only 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like 5 on the list, so I don't expect we will be here for a long period of time, but it is important that we get these bills all heard so that we can get to work on preparing a new bill for the session. There is a 3-minute rule, but I think we can be a little bit more flexible given that we don't have many witnesses testifying. But let me begin by recognizing who is here from the committee. I know that Representative Hawkins is with us, and Representative Moschino. Do we have any others that you know? And Lipper Garabedian is with us as well. And as more folks step into the hearing, I will introduce them as well. So let's begin. Our first witness who signed up to testify is Kat Burnham, Senior Principal for Advanced Energy United. Kat, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine, and we can see you. You're
Wonderful.
all wrapped up. Is it cold where you are?
It's a little chilly. It's that time of year. I like to be cozy.
Well, we have the heat on in room A2, so you're more than welcome.
Well, I'll get started. I won't take up too much of your time. Thank you, Chair Roy and members of the committee. I'm Kat Burnham here in support of House Bill 4222 and Senate Bill 2531. On behalf of Advanced Energy United, we represent the full range of advanced energy technologies, and our member companies are united in achieving 100% clean power and transportation electrification. I don't need to tell this committee Mass is a leader on climate action thanks to strong decarbonization goals and a dedication to electrify heating and transportation. But to meet these targets, our electric grid needs significant improvement. Our current infrastructure is not sufficient, and we need additional grid capacity urgently. Siting and building new transmission lines is a necessary step, but that can be time intensive and come with considerable upfront costs. Fortunately, tools like grid enhancing technologies, known as GETs, can be deployed swiftly. GETs make the power grid more reliable, flexible, and efficient. There are 3 widely accepted GETs as defined by the Department of Energy and other industry leaders. The first is dynamic line rating, which measures the real-time capacity of power lines based on measurements of ambient conditions like temperature or wind. The second is advanced power flow control, which allow operators to reroute power from constrained areas to places with available capacity. And 3 is topology optimization, which identifies bottlenecks and prevents lines from being congested. Other advanced technologies distinct from GETs can also optimize the grid, as well as safely and quickly increase the ability to integrate more renewable energy. That includes advanced reconductoring, which replaces old cables and leverages the use of existing infrastructure. Advanced cables can deliver up to twice the current of legacy wires and reduce line loss by as much as 30%. And the third I want to mention is energy storage as a transmission asset. Like GETs and advanced reconductoring, storage as a transmission asset typically have faster development timelines and smaller construction disturbances. These technologies have demonstrated that they can work, and we offer additional details and specific examples in our written testimony. The proposed legislation here is very practical and straightforward in scope. It requires that when a distribution company proposes intrastate additions to the transmission system in a filing, they need to conduct an analysis of multiple strategies to address the situation, looking at GETs, storage as a transmission resource, and advanced reconductoring, and then share that analysis with the DPU. All of these advanced energy solutions are important tools for the clean energy transition, and I just want to respectfully quickly request that the bill language be adjusted to clearly distinguish that advanced conductors and storage as a transmission asset are separate from the definition of GETs and are unique solutions in and of themselves. This legislation appropriately elevates grid technologies in ways that maximize the capacity of the grid, and they're achievable near-term solutions. So with that, I encourage the committee to report these bills out favorably. Thank you so much for your time and consideration of your testimony, or my testimony.
Great.
I welcome any questions.
Well, thank you so much. Just one question on, I don't know if you've been following the Clean Energy Transmission Working Group, but I know that this was an important piece coming out of that that particular group. And there was some discussion about, as opposed to calling it grid-enhancing technologies, that we refer to them as advanced technologies, and I wonder if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for myself, I think it's important to distinguish grid-enhancing technologies because they are underutilized by utilities right now, and we want to make sure that they're elevated as a solution for the three types of GETs that I mentioned. But what I think the bill does well is it acknowledges there are other advanced energy solutions. So I think we can do both. We can elevate GETs as a specific solution, but also elevate advanced technologies more broadly within the scope of the bill.
Okay. Would that be through the definition section? Or somewhere
yes, but
else?
I would take advanced reconductoring and storage as a transmission asset out from under the umbrella of GETs. But I think all three of those types fall under the umbrella of advanced solutions.
Great.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you so much. Let me see if our other members of the committee have any questions. I see no questions from the rest of the committee, but I do see that the Vice Chair Haggerty has joined us. So thank you very much for your testimony, and look forward to working with you further on this legislation. Our next witness signed up to testify is Allison Hilliard from Reimagine Power. And Allison, are you with us? Allison going once. All right, we will move on. If Allison shows up, we will recognize you. But the next witness signed up is Sterling Clifford from Sonova Energy. Sterling, are you with us?
I am. Thank you.
All right,
I appreciate
you have the floor.
Opportunity to talk to you today. My name's Sterling Clifford. I'm Senior Government Affairs Manager for Sonova Energy International. We are a leading residential solar and storage company with approximately 400,000 customers in 54 U.S. states and territories and a significant presence in Massachusetts. I want to thank you for your leadership in the promotion of solar, residential solar specifically, to achieving the Commonwealth's climate goals and to growing renewable energy presence across New England. I'm here today to talk specifically about S2529, an act reducing the financial penalty imposed on customers who shift to heat pumps, electric appliances, and electric vehicles. It's important, we agree, for decision makers to examine every available tool to help the Commonwealth achieve carbon neutrality, but the idea of an income-based fixed charge to increase electrification adoption is an unproven strategy that we believe will create more problems than it solves. Fixed charges can increase electrification, but not necessarily beneficial electrification. According to 15 rate design experts and economists in a study conducted by Flagstaff Research, based on PG&E's fixed income charge proposal in California, the energy users who stand to save the most money from fixed charges are high energy users. A single family home with a swimming pool, for example, will receive cheaper energy at the expense of low electricity users like apartment renters. In California, legislators are already working to repeal the income graduated fixed charge rate design law because of problems raised with this process. Solar is a key pillar for achieving state carbon reduction goals, and installations are already behind to make the 2050 goal. Changes to rate design structure when the DPU is still working to implement changes to the SMART program from 2021 and 2022 would further delay important updates to the SMART incentive program. We look forward to working with policymakers on the rate design proposals, and we want to have a robust discussion on how to build an electrified future that reflects the values of distributed generation. But we request that this bill be tabled until a more comprehensive review of rate design can be conducted, including the impact of any rate design changes on the development of solar in the state. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Are there any questions for this particular witness? I'm seeing none. Thank you very much for your testimony. The next witness who's scheduled to testify is Thad Cully from Sunrun. Thad, are you with us?
I sure am. Thank you, Chairman Roy.
All right. Great to see you.
Great to see you and happy holidays to everyone. So my name is Thad Cully. I'm a director of public policy for Sunrun. And like Sonova, we're also in the business of residential solar and storage services and also have a significant presence in Massachusetts. So I won't repeat, in the interest of time, I won't repeat a lot of the comments that
We have plenty of time. Not gonna run out of time.
Okay, well, that you've blown my cover. In the interest of not getting over my skis, then I will keep my comments very brief here and not repeat what my colleague, Mr. Clifford, just said. But when we look at electrification and increasing electrification and achieving affordability, which are intents in this bill, we agree very much with those. Those are values we share. However, we do, as Mr. Clifford pointed out, oppose the means to get there that's presented in this. We do think that's misaligned with the other goals of Massachusetts to get to reach climate goals. So with that in mind, when we think about electrification that's already happening and it's happening at a pretty quick pace, and we look around the country, one of the biggest trends we see is load growth. Declining load among utilities had been a fear of rooftop solar and energy efficiency. And that was one of the reasons in the last 10 years we've seen an increase in the use of fixed charges sought by utilities, often denied by the utility regulators as a means to stave off that. We're in a new paradigm now where increased sales of electricity, kind of erase that problem of reduced sales. The problem we need to solve for now is, probably to paraphrase a movie from my childhood that scared me, is we're going to need a bigger grid. We're going to have to build a bigger grid to handle this load. And solutions from the customer side, either energy efficiency, rooftop solar, or battery storage, are going to be critical to helping mitigate the cost of those necessary upgrades. So I would contend that Mr. Clifford's recommendation to table this for further conversation has a lot of merit. There are a lot of other complicated issues, and I believe the DPU would be a necessary party to help resolve a path forward on this. And with that, I'm certainly would welcome any questions from the chair or from any of the members. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thad, thank you for your testimony. To the extent you were offering up a trivia question, that movie would be Jaws, correct?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Any questions for Thad? I'm seeing none. Thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Next witness who signed up to testify today is Kyle Murray. Kyle, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, the
How are
floor
you,
is
Mr.
yours.
Chair?
Great to see you.
Good to see you. Usually I like to go to these in person, but you caught me off guard with this, and I'm actually on vacation right now, but thought this was important enough to be here today. My name is Kyle Murray, and I'm the Director of State Program Implementation and Massachusetts Program Director for Acadia Center. Acadia Center is a nonprofit research and advocacy organization that works to advance bold, effective, and equitable clean energy solutions. The organization has a long history of advocacy for creating a fully integrated, flexible, and low-carbon energy grid. Addressing these issues will help the Commonwealth advance a future of lower ratepayer costs, more local jobs, fewer greenhouse gas emissions, and better public health. I'm also a member of the Commonwealth's Grid Modernization Advisory Council, though I am not here in that capacity today. As all of you in the committee are aware, the transition to our fully electrified future will require significant building and spending to ensure that we have the proper infrastructure in place to manage future electric demand. However, the scale of the problem isn't exactly as dire has been presented. Some estimates call for a tripling of our energy load. We really only have scratched the surface of exceptionally cost-effective solutions like energy efficiency or demand response. So make no mistake, there will be a need for significant investment in build-out. However, there's still so much to be done with what we have, just have now. S2531 filed by Chair Barrett and H4222 filed by you, Chair Roy, propose incredibly important steps down these paths, and I am here in favor of those bills. They focus on grid-enhancing technologies, which, as the bills define, are any hardware or software technology that enables enhanced or more efficient performance from the electric transmission system, including but not limited to dynamic line rating, advanced power flow technology, topology optimization, advanced reconductoring, and energy storage when used as a transmission resource. Put simply, grid-enhancing technologies are often incredibly cost-effective technologies that help us maximize our existing infrastructure. For example, one example I recently heard involved a sensor that cost around $100,000 being installed. This sensor alone negated the need for an infrastructure expansion that would have cost millions of dollars. So this legislation would, for base rate proceedings and other proceedings in which a distribution company proposes capital investments or additions to the transmission system, require the distribution companies to conduct a cost effectiveness and timetable analysis of multiple strategies, including but not limited to the deployment of grid enhancing technologies, advanced reconductoring, and energy storage used as a transmission resource. This is a common sense approach to help us maximize our grid resources and save ratepayers' money. Now, we are still reviewing this legislation, and I think we'll probably follow up with a few tweaks to the language in writing, or proposals for tweaks to the language in writing. But I did want to show up today and just note my strong support for these proposals. I think they're really visionary and really will help us take advantage of what we have now on the grid. So thank you to the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to testify today, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Well, thank you for your testimony, and thank you for taking time away from your vacation. But we're trying to move these bills as quickly as possible because, as you well know, there is a climate crisis on our hands, and the faster we move, the better we all are. Let me ask folks on the committee, any questions for this witness? I'm seeing none. Thank you so much for your testimony. I want to let folks know that Representative Howitt has also joined us for the hearing, so welcome, Representative Howitt. The next witness signed up to testify is Valessa Suda-Klein from Solar Energy Industries Association. Valessa, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me and or see me?
We can do both, so welcome, and you have the floor.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Chair Roy, members of the TUE committee, my name is Valessa Suda-Klein. I'm the Northeast Director for the Solar Energy Industries Association, better known as SEIA. We represent both the U.S. solar and storage industries. We've got over 1,000 members, and we work with partners as well to shape market rules that promote competition and the growth of reliable, low-cost solar power. It's worth noting that there are, I think we're just shy of 500 solar companies located in Massachusetts, supporting more than 11,000 jobs. And that's in addition to national firms that are conducting business in the Commonwealth. First and foremost, I want to recognize the ongoing work of this committee to ensure that Massachusetts is a climate leader. We would not be where we are today without your work. And I appreciate the opportunity to provide testimony on S2529 today. And you've heard from my colleagues previously, so a very similar message here, so I'll keep it brief. SEIA values the impetus behind S2529, namely increased electrification and affordability. We strongly support both objectives. Further, SEIA understands the need for a comprehensive look at rate design in the Commonwealth to ensure that electric rates are structured to meet the needs of consumers and are in alignment with our shared decarbonization goals. SEIA and our member companies are concerned, however, that the current structure of the bill could lead to unintended consequences, such as discouraging efficiency and adoption of emissions-free solar, specifically reducing the potential for bill savings available through volumetric rates would lengthen the solar payback period, making solar less attractive to consumers. Comprehensive, methodical rate design that balances affordable electrification with adoption of clean energy is essential. I don't need to belabor this here, but we greatly appreciate the work of this committee. We also recognize the work of DPR and DOER, who issued an RFP last week, I think, on this issue. And we look forward to working with the Commonwealth as we tackle this issue sort of holistically, methodically, and ensure that there are no unintended consequences and that solar is supported throughout the process. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Are there any questions for this witness? I'm seeing no questions. Thank you very much for your testimony. Next witness scheduled to testify is Natalie Hild-Treat from NECEC. Natalie, are you with us?
I am here.
All right.
Good
The floor
morning.
is yours.
Okay. Good morning, Chair Roy and members of the committee. Thank you for having this important hearing as everyone is cramming to get in before the year end. My name is Natalie Hilt-Treat, and I am Director of Public Policy with the Northeast Clean Energy Council. NECEC is a leading trade group representing all of the clean energy segments and a mission-driven organization working to advance the just, equitable, and rapid transition to a clean energy future and a diverse climate economy. So I come before you today to speak in favor of H4222 and S2531, both titled an Act Advancing Grid Enhancing Technologies. The Commonwealth and its neighbors are racing to modernize the electric grid so that it can support the rapid, equitable transition to clean energy sources and the decarbonization of buildings and vehicles. We must also find ways to mitigate costs of these investments for businesses and consumers. The types of grid enhancement technologies outlined in these two bills are smart, cost-effective, and deployable today. Just as we need to wring all of the efficiency out of energy where we use it, we should absolutely require and support technologies that allow us to get more out of our electric transmission system. GETs, as they're known, paired with energy storage, can allow better use of the grid we have today while planning the must-do enhancements for a resilient, reimagined electric grid. GETs are an exciting new set of enabling technologies. They let us do more with less. They can help us speed the clean energy transition, and they are proven. So with that, I would like to take this opportunity to urge the committee to also include another key enabling technology in your legislative agenda. I know that you've heard about it, and I'm going to plug it today, and that is meter collar adapters. These products can safely eliminate the need for costly electric panel upgrades when homeowners are installing things like solar panels, batteries, and EV chargers. Several states, including Vermont, Connecticut, Arizona, New Jersey, and Maryland, have or are clearing the way for meter collar adapters, allowing an electrician to complete 3 jobs in a day instead of 1, for example, and relieving the backlog of projects and driving down costs. We need your leadership to ensure access to a low-cost, reliable, and widely used tool for streamlining interconnection and reducing the installation costs for distributed energy resources by hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I thought I'd get in that extra plug. We really appreciate your leadership and your dedication to forging progress on clean energy and climate solutions, and for the opportunity to testify before you today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for your testimony. Would welcome you submitting some proposed language for that change you are urging, and we will take a look at it. So thank you very much.
Great. We will follow up in writing. Thank you,
Great.
Chair.
Any questions for the witness from members of the committee? Rep. Howard.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This witness may or may not be able to answer the question, but she did bring up energy storage. And that seems to be an issue in some of my towns and my communities where these companies have come in requesting to purchase or lease land for these big lithium battery storage units. And it seems that many people in the communities are against it for fearful if they should catch on fire, or if they and if they would catch on fire, putting them out and the pollutants that they would be expelling. So I'm just sort of curious, because it is necessary to store the power, so when the power is needed, it's there. But at the same time, towns are very hesitant to allow these storage units in.
Sure. Well, I can tell you that as a trade association on clean energy, I spend a lot of time on storage with our members. And we know that as we work to put more behind the meter storage on buildings and also large storage connected to the transmission system, that there does need to be some careful consideration of both hazard prevention and mitigation. I noticed a headline come across my desk today that NYSERDA in New York has convened a multi-agency task force to look at this. I know from our members that have been meeting with the State Fire Marshal Convention that this is something that is of concern. So we're going to be working with our partner trade associations, such as CEA and Advanced Energy United and others that were on the call today, to make sure that our industry is proactive in outlining the steps to give communities comfort that there are procedures to ensure the maximum safety of these installations. Because as you know, storage is a key piece of the puzzle for keeping the grid operating reliable and enabling more renewables like solar and wind.
I was discussing this subject yesterday with someone regarding the fire marshal and fire departments. And I was told that in some cases, these storage units are set up like containers and they have a chute on the top. In case they have a fire, they have to blow and fill the whole unit with water to put it out because they burn so hot.
Wow, I have not had that personal opportunity to tour some of these facilities, but I hope to in the new year. And we are continuing as an industry to get in front of some of these safety concerns. I know that they are legitimate and they are things that need to be and can be addressed with good planning and policy. So I know that siting facilities is an issue that we're going to keep seeing coming forward, and having good policies for communities and the state to look forward to with the partnership of industry is vital. So I'll be happy to follow up with you offline as well, Rep. Howard. Thank you.
But I think the big issue, again, is local zoning and also local fire departments to give them some sort of reassurance that these storage units are safe and really will not be a problem for the towns in the future.
Yep, we want to do all we can to have good information and also best practices for these communities that are wrestling with how to deal with these new projects. So we are also encouraged to hear that the Commonwealth, DOER, and Mass EC is going to look to put out more guidance for communities as well on that. So thank you.
Hey, Rep. Howard, just for your own edification, Lita Jones has one of these battery storage facilities in his district, and I want to say 2 years ago, he offered us a tour of it, so we actually got to go up and take a peek at it, and I'm sure he'd be delighted to have you up in his district as well. And I also moderated a panel on this very issue, and we had one of the fire officials from the state of California where they have implemented these battery storage facilities. He was part of that panel. I will locate it and send you a link to the program because I'm sure it'd be helpful to you and folks in your community.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You got it. Any other questions for the witness? I'm seeing none. So that completes the list, but I just want to double check to see if Allison Hilliard has made it to the hearing, and if so, we'll hear your testimony now. Allison, are you with us?
Thank you.
She is not with us, so that closes the hearing. Is there anybody that signed up to testify that I may have missed? Excellent. Well, thank you all for participating in this hearing, and at this time, I'll call this meeting to a close. Thank you.
Thank you.